Yellow. Today's video is about the fact that you need to be the guy that you're pretending to be when you're trying to get the girl by pretending to be a really amazing guy. I'll explain what I mean. So effectively, we all know that like women like men who are confident and powerful and things like that. So what we tend to do, and what I've done a billion, trillion and one times in the past until I actually kind of figured this out, it's like you meet a woman and you pretend to be something, you know? You act like you're this really cool, amazing, funny guy or whatever. You kind of play up to this image. But the thing is that you can't actually keep that up forever. Like if you're pretending to be something that you're not, you won't be able to do that indefinitely, and like cracks start to form and stuff, you know? And then once the cracks in your outer facade of false confidence start to form, she sees that and she's like, what the hell's going on here? This isn't what I signed up for. This isn't the man that I thought he was. And then she leaves. When it comes to game, there's two types of game. There's the inner game and then there's the outer game. The inner game is you and like how you literally feel about yourself. You know, whether or not you feel like you are worthy of the woman you're speaking to, whether or not you feel like you're worthy of good times and a good life, etc. But the outer game is specific techniques that you use to meet a woman. So if you're in a club and then you see a group of women, you walk up and you say, hey guys, who lies more, men or women? That's an outer game technique. That is a specific technique that you're using. Or if you see two women and you like one of them, so you walk up to the one that you don't like and you say, hey, excuse me, could you help me with something? She goes, yep. And then you say, while still talking to her about her friends, I think your friend's really beautiful, but I'm so shy, I don't know what to say to her. Could you just help me out? Like, just tell me like what I maybe could say to your friend in order to get her to talk to me. That would be an outer game technique. But the point of it is this. The whole purpose of outer game techniques is to honestly give the impression of you having a rock solid inner game. And that is the reason why when I coach guys, I don't really focus on outer game techniques that much, because actually the inner game is more or less all you need. But you need to have the inner game handled. If you don't have the inner game handled, you'll always fall flat on your face. So yeah, what I'm saying to you is be the guy that you're pretending to be. So when you're out there and you're meeting these women, these ladies, and it's like you're pretending to be this absolutely amazing man, just realize that unless you're actively working to become that amazing man behind the scenes, well, you're gonna run into troubles and hardships. Like, here's a really good example, right? This happened to me back in the day, years ago this happened, but this actually changed my life. It's like, when I first started learning about all of this stuff, I had a huge list of stories on my phone, just like loads of different stories. And it's like, if I was in a club, if I was on a date or something, I would just have a look at my phone, I would see one of these funny stories, and then I'll tell the girl the funny story, and then she would laugh, ha 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 ha, and it's like I had bought myself, I don't know, X amount of minutes of goodwill. Anyway, something happened, right? And this is what happened. I started seeing this woman, and it's like I'm seeing just the same woman. So what happened is, I went through all of my list of stories, and then I eventually got to the end of them. And what I realized was, and this must have been about 2 weeks after seeing her, once I'd run out of stories, I was completely terrified. I had nothing to say. And I was like stuck, and I was in my own head because I was like relying on those stories. I was relying on those stories in order to be able to communicate with this woman. And then once I had no stories left, I did not know what to do at all. She said she lost interest. She was gone, beating her chest like King Kong. That let me realize that, yeah, you have to take care of like what's going on inside. You really do. Like, you can't rely on outer game or the facade. You can't actually fake being somebody. You have to actually be the person that you're trying to pretend to be. And if you can't be the person you're trying to pretend to be, then actually just be you, effectively. So that is it for me today. Have yourself an absolutely wonderful, fantastic, spine-chilling, rib-tickling day, and take care.